insane flow where he says, "Me rich, bad and evil, me not sign to label, me not work for people," pointing out the fact that Masicka is one of the only dancehall artists who has signed to a major international label, Def Jam, calling him a puppet and a slave. You worship crown, house, land and vehicle. Hope say when you're dead, them bury them with you. When me there at prison, and me run the block with the eagle. Member say and me say real friend and bill you. And then ends off the song by saying this.
Suck your mother you. I will be there destroy.
And even after the music stops, not only does he not stop talking, but he addresses how Masicka has turned the war into a freak-off and ends the song with this final line.
I understand about freak things still, cause maybe, you know, say I in your face climax get our name as in.
And just like that, the song comes to a close. And I just want to say that between these two songs, both of them were so astronomically tough. I genuinely feel like round one might be tied. Not only did Tommy Lee accurately respond to everything Masicka said, but he also made his fair share of allegations that no Masicka absolutely has to address. The vocal performance of Tommy Lee was unlike anything I've ever heard from another dancehall artist. But at the same time, Masicka's song was a lot more aggressive and suited for war. Who took the first round is genuinely up to your own interpretation, and really and truly, we're just gonna have to see what round 2 brings to the fray. Maybe even Skeng will shake up the breaking update. Just as I was about to upload this video, Masicka just now dropped another song called Tears, with a cover art that shows crocodiles swarming a crying dead man that is very obviously digging into the narrative of Tommy Lee crying in prison. Let's break this down. Unsurprisingly, the song starts off with a clip from the same video we showed earlier of Tommy Lee crying in jail. Remember, the reason why he was crying is because he was afraid that Vybz Kartel was going to do something to him. Hence why the song starts by saying, "Man trick them and press them. Nyam F. Leroy, we no big friend." Calling Tommy Lee by his real government name and saying, "Yo, ya idiot, you make man trick you and press you." He then accuses him of having no intelligence by saying, "You drugs out, you sense them," and makes the most diabolical accusation of this entire clash so far. "A be a little pickney and frig, you for dead then." And this allegation is no joke. Therefore, if we're gonna further this narrative, I would love to see some actual proof. We no licky licky, not a coffin nor a hearse, on a sicky sicky. Girl say your back now work, Tommy kissy kitty. Furthering the narrative of Tommy Lee being an enjoyer of the meat between the feet. But then Masicka goes on a very interesting tangent, almost as if he's fighting for justice when he says, "Rifle for rifle, title for title. Enough youth on a stifle will fight on a cycle," taking aim at the entire Gaza camp and saying that they've stifled many young talents over the years, which has to do with the many accusations and fallouts of OG members of Gaza that we've heard over the years. What does Masicka know behind the scenes that we don't? He then goes on to say, "Charge up the matic, put it side of my Bible," as if to say, "Yo, you're a demon? Well, guess what? We have God pan for your side." No, Bible and matic, I don't know if it works that way, but this is Jamaica. What do we expect? Shot broke the bone from the giant, where the 9 do, and my name pon the host them, while a man a mine you. Saying that everything Tommy Lee has is because of Vybz Kartel, his Don. Which he further adds on to when he says, "You done style you already, but you return, you have no pride." Referring to, of course, the intro at the start, and saying if Kartel did have you a ball sucker, you're afraid of your life, you really a go back to him? Say you never have no father and you F up as a child. Now you're a smashed little girl, and coca puff up on the side. Bringing back up the kiddie diddler allegations, which again, if this is true, we need some proof because this is insane. And speaking of childhood, he also addresses the claim Tommy Lee made that Masicka did not grow up in a rough environment. He says, "Grow rough, Walter Maban, them never run the file," and continues with more general violence until he reaches a point where he disses Tommy about something that many people have been complaining about for a while. The fact that many people do not understand him when he talks in his songs. Masicka says, "Nah here, kaya mumble, and me a listen now for a while. A pussy juice clog up your throat. Me a use the scope there from a mile," providing a very interesting allegation for Tommy Lee's voice. After this, he goes into Tommy Lee's response about saying that his crying on the phone was just a quote-unquote prison style and it was a strategic move. Come and talk about jail style make we cry? Well, guess what? My dog I run life and I wall it out till him die. As if to say, yo, if you're a real bad man, you're not shaking no time. All if a life you're in there for. Pussy, if a gun smoke, a head a fly, we never tell no lie. And if a talent alone, you'd a never get a blind. Now this is where we have to take a step back and be real with ourselves here. Tommy Lee have more talent than 99% of dancehall. That is a fact. Just like you, just like Alkaline, just like Cartel, him dead. So let's not pretend like, you hear me? Like, no, we're not doing that. Because Tommy Lee never once said Masicka was not talented. He just said he wasn't the king, which Masicka actually responds to yet again by saying, if you not believe in yourself, pussy face, guess what? Me believe say, me are the king, me are the goat. Tell them legend never die. Send him up to Christ. Yeah, good youth Leroy. Yeah, play devil in disguise. He also continues the junkie allegations and accuses him of apparently not being able to read. He then goes on to address the part of Tommy Lee's song which accuses him of being in love with materialism. Me no worship vanity, a poverty winner life. So me staying at the Bumbuckler studio every night. And me don't beg no friend in my own zone, alright. Pussy run upon me at the chrome them a strike, emphasizing the fact that he's a hard worker and deserves every single thing he's ever worked for. And segues this into calling Tommy Lee broke once again by saying, yo, calm down DJ, remember say them boy they head light, them now get no show, we not see them on the flight, take some time off, get a book and learn to write. F that, mix some cement, left the stage and return the mic. Suck your mama boy, you think say a girl we fight? The song then continues for about 2 to 3 more minutes of just general violence. And finally as it closes he says, him say him richer than me, but him paying a raise. Man for book you for a cake sale, pussy. Him can't at again if me not hear my name. I aim my aim, and then me clear the flame. Dead. And just like that, the song ends. And I'm not going to lie, many of you are not going to like this, but that song to me was extremely weak. Given the fact that it was 6 minutes long, you would think that he genuinely had something of substance to say. But the whole song was basically just a gun song, and repeating the same narratives that he had been repeating throughout this entire clash, with the only difference being he's now accusing him of loving children, which is insane, sure, but you only mentioned it twice and the song is 6 minutes. What did you spend 6 minutes talking about? Furthermore, the song is called Tears. You had the intro track as Tears and you have the cover art as Tears, yet you only brought up the prison crying thing like twice and added practically no new information. This is stuff that you already said in the last song. So really and truly, I have to wonder why Masicka thought that this song was the best choice to go with. We could say maybe he was rushing, but if you're rushing, why would you make a 6-minute song? Obviously he had the time. I don't know, man, I don't know, but we'll have to see what Tommy Lee comes back with, because I really thought Masicka was going to win, but hey, against talented people, if you get even a little bit complacent, anybody can lose, and that's a fact. Because at the end of the day, as much as Masicka is the bigger hitmaker, we've seen Tommy Lee in war. And speaking of which, if you want to see how Tommy Lee handled himself in the war against Alkaline and who came out on top, click the video on your screen right now. Stay tuned for more updates, and as always, the dancehall has been decoded.